Good evening, good evening. Hope everyone's doing alright. Man, I think Mother Nature, at least the weather part of Mother Nature, wanted to kick me in the nads one more time before it lets up. Hopefully lets up for about a week. Man, joints are kind of sore today. I'm going to make it a quick, quick kind of rip the band-aid off kind of evening, just because I'm sore and I'm tired and actually hungry. I think I need to warm up some leftovers or something before I go to bed. Feeling a little shaky, so that tells me my sugar level's a little low. Anyway, I got 4 articles up. Just going to run through them real quick. There'll always be more news tomorrow. Doomsday clock set at 89 seconds to midnight, closest ever to global catastrophe. Says Doomsday clock was set at 89 seconds to midnight on Tuesday morning, putting it the closest the world has ever been to what scientists deem global catastrophe. The decades-old, The decades-old international symbol described by the University of Chicago-based nonprofit for the Bulletin of Atomic Scientists as a metaphor that shows how close the planet is to reaching human extinction. It is set every year. In January 2024, the clock was set at 90 seconds to midnight, the same as it was in 2023. This is the first time the clock has moved forward since 2023. The Bulletin of Atomic Scientists tracks man-made threats and focuses on 3 main hazard areas: nuclear risk, climate change, and disruptive technologies. To determine the clock's placement, the clock's position this year was set based on nuclear weapons threats, the climate crisis, biological threats, and disruptive technologies like artificial intelligence, according to a press release from the Bulletin. We set the clock closer to midnight because we do not see sufficient positive progress on the global challenges we face, including nuclear risk, climate change, biological threats, and advances in disruptive technologies, said Daniel Holes, the chair of the Bulletin Science and Security Board, which sets the clock, in a news conference Thursday. So, you get the drill, right? Without me reading the whole damn article, you get the point. Doesn't mean anything. It's something to keep an eye on, but it's not something to use as a deciding point to go freak out or nothing like that. We are in a tough spot, not only with conflict, but again, like that was saying, the disruptive technologies, we're certainly in a tough spot with that on many levels. So, AI, in my opinion, just one of them. We've got all kinds of threats. I mean, even if we lose our power grid, say there was a cyber attack, destroyed our power grid, that's just something that can happen in a moment's notice. And, how many seconds to midnight are we going to be then? So, it's not something you can look at and plan your doomsday with. I will say that much. Okay, just run on to this one. Indiana man pardoned by Trump is fatally shot during a traffic stop. And I'm sure there's going to be mixed opinions on this. I haven't even given an opinion yet, to be honest. I'm just kind of letting everything... I want to see if there's any other stories that come out or anything like that. I will mention, before I read this article, that I did see a meme thing today talking about how law enforcement should be aware of January 6th hostages, protester, whatever name label you want to put on them, and them having possible PTSD from being locked up and the conditions they were locked up in and all of that. And there is merit to that. It's not a free ticket, right? but there is some merit to that. Um, if you were held in just absolute squalor and bad conditions and treated wrongly, and you were locked up for several years and got out, you may not act like you would normally act today during just a routine traffic stop. I mean, I get it. If anybody gets this, I get it. An Indiana man was fatally shot by a deputy during a traffic stop just days after he was pardoned by President Donald Trump for a misdemeanor related to the 2021 U.S. Capitol riot. Matthew Huddle, let me take this shirt off. I forgot to do it. I start to do the show, and from me speaking and talking, my body temperature rises. And if I've got a long sleeve shirt on, I wind up getting hot, overheated. I know it probably sounds weird, but welcome to COPD. Let's see. Matthew Huddle, 42, of Hobart, was killed Sunday by a Jasper County Sheriff's deputy, authorities said. State police are investigating and said deputy tried to arrest Huddle when an altercation took place between the suspect and the officer, which resulted in the officer firing his weapon and fatally wounding the suspect. The investigation also shows that during the traffic stop, the suspect was in possession of a firearm, state police added. And I'm always careful on those details, because sometimes those details are changed. It says, and speaking of details, it says no other details were released. Authorities didn't say what might have prompted the traffic stop. So our condolences goes out to the family of the deceased, as any loss of life is traumatic to those that were close to Mr. Huddle, Sheriff Patrick Williamson said. Nick Barnes, an attorney who was representing Huddle in pending motor vehicle cases in Lake County, said he didn't know the circumstances of the shooting. I plan to find out a lot more about it, Barnes said. So we'll see. We'll see. Certainly interesting. Certainly something to keep an eye on. And I just, for my own sake, I'd like to know the political leanings of that sheriff and his department. Because just because it was Indiana doesn't necessarily mean it was red. It depends where. Depends where. And if it would be classified as blue, I think I would be doing some serious investigating. Okay. EU and NATO told to keep silent on Greenland, says Financial Times. Denmark has asked NATO and the European Union not to comment on U.S. President Donald Trump's recent threats regarding Greenland, the Financial Times has claimed, citing several anonymous officials. Copenhagen reportedly hopes that by refusing to openly confront the new U.S. president, it can appease him. Good luck with that. The U.S. head of state first floated the idea of purchasing the island during his first term in office and revived the idea following his return to the White House. Trump has cited Greenland's significance for U.S. national security and has refused to rule out the use of military force to obtain the island, one of the world's largest. Okay, so we gotta do this. Pretty sure it's like listed somewhere that we gotta do this. Okay. I hope you can see what I'm typing. Make me a picture of Trump playing peekaboo with Denmark. I gotta see it. Come on. Give it to me. Give it to me. Can always count on Grok. Yeah, I'm not sure what. I mean, this looks a little scary here. Does Trump have like a little voodoo doll of some Denmark dude or something? I don't know. That's a little creepy. That's a little creepy. And this one's certainly creepy. I mean, I don't know what that's trying to say. Anyway. Denmark, which rules the autonomous territory, has insisted that Greenland is not for sale. The Financial Times article on Tuesday alleged that NATO and the EU have taken a vow of silence over Greenland at Copenhagen's behest. The Nordic nation is supposedly anxious to avoid public confrontation with the U.S. president in the hope of averting further escalation. Media outlet quoted an unnamed senior European official as explaining that a low profile seems to be the safest bet with Trump. Hopefully he will be distracted by something else. Man, hope is not a plan. Somebody needs to let that fool know. Hope is not a plan. Yikes. This can't be good, Bob. U.S. F-35 slams into runway and explodes. F-35 fighter jet crashed at Eielson Air Base near Fairbanks, Alaska around 1 p.m. on Tuesday, with authorities reporting that the incident caused significant damage to the aircraft. Wow. However, a video circulating online suggests the jet was completely destroyed as it dropped from the sky and slammed into the runway. Pilot was unharmed and was transported to Bassett Army Hospital for evaluation. The crash occurred within the base's perimeter, and emergency services, including ambulances and fire trucks, responded quickly. The affected area on the runway has been secured, and an investigation is underway to determine the cause of the incident. Oh, yeah, that thing's gone. Significant damage, my ass. And I saw just for a split second, I don't know if he's going to show it again. Yeah, there he is. There's the pilot there. So, that is why the pilot is unharmed. But, significant damage is not the answer for that. It's completely frickin' sandwiched. That thing is done. Done. Yikes. I wonder what happened. Almost like his flight control system kind of left before he did. I don't know. I'm thinking he didn't have control. Because, wow. Okay. I've got one more article, and I'm going to get the hell out of here after I find something to eat real quick. Now I'm going to go to bed after that. Trump threatens Taiwan's chip makers with sweeping tariffs. I think we're about to see chips and AI become very dominating things, as well as the like rare earth minerals and stuff like that are used in making these chips. I really do think some crazy is about to go down technologically. Says U.S. President Donald Trump has said he plans to impose tariffs as high as 100% on imported chips and semiconductors from foreign manufacturers such as Taiwan. He also pledged to place sweeping tariffs on pharmaceuticals and steel in order to compel manufacturers to relocate production to the U.S. Addressing Republican Party members on Monday, Trump said that his administration will implement the tariffs in the very near future to return production of these essential goods to the United States of America. The U.S. president argued that production of computer chips and semiconductors left us and went to Taiwan, which is about 98% of the chip business, by the way. And we want them to come back, and we don't want to give them billions of dollars like this ridiculous program that Biden has, Trump said. He was referring to former President Joe Biden's program of providing subsidies to chip makers such as Intel to produce in the U.S. Biden's CHIPS and Science Act, signed into law in 2022, earmarked $53 billion in subsidies for microchip companies in an effort to boost U.S. competitiveness and catch up with China. The remarks are the latest in a series of trade-related threats issued by Trump in recent days. He has also vowed to impose 25% tariffs on imports from Canada and Mexico unless both countries address U.S. demands. You already know about all that crap. Really, that's the long and the short of what's going on. I think one of the big things he's trying to do too is a lot of these new chips, these AI capable chips, a lot of them are using different whatever structures or whatever. They're not the same old chips, right? So I think one of the things is, and there's not a lot of, companies and equipment and stuff like that. I mean, you've got a new chip that what Google came out with, or came up with anyway, and that's not the same thing as the chip that's on your computer or the chip that's in your phone. A totally different chip made on a totally different die and all that good stuff. And all of that stuff is particular to that one chip. So my thought is that before these even more advanced chips start being produced, that Trump's trying to get that done here, and that would be a huge boost for our economy. That might get close to the same demand as things like oil, as an example. Seriously. Chips could become a very, very, very big deal in the future. And he who has the best chips is probably going to make a hell of a lot of money on them. And I can see why he's especially making this move. And then, making the move with the new data centers and all that good stuff. This just kind of goes along with it all. So, anyway, those are the headlines I had. I'm going to go warm me up some leftovers and munch a little bit and go to bed. I am sore, tired. So, should be definitely feeling better by tomorrow, though. I got a good, nice, steady forecast, nice temperatures. One day's even going to get like 60. That'd be sweet. Anyway, I am out of here. I hope y'all have a good night, and shalom.